As the largest organ we have, our skin is probably the most versatile yet least understood part of our body. Acting like an elastic barrier, its primary function is our first line of defense against the outside world. Like bricks in a wall, our skin tissue is made up of many building blocks called cells, each with a specific job. In this video, we'll take a look at one cell in particular, the melanocyte, a specialized cell whose constant action means that we stay protected from the universe's radiation all the time.
First, we need to consider the structure of the skin. Like a layered cake, our skin is made up of three distinct sections: the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. Dermis literally comes from the Greek word derma, which simply means skin. As you can see, blood vessels, hair, sweat, and oil glands are also present here. Melanocytes are found at the bottom of the outermost layer of the epidermis, on what's called the basal layer, underneath another type of cell, the keratinocytes. 1 in every 5 to 10 cells in the epidermis is a melanocyte, highlighting the importance of its role. But what does a melanocyte actually look like? On the left is an actual image of the basal layer under a microscope, the heavily pink-stained cells being the melanocyte bodies. To understand it better, the picture on the right magnifies it for us. As you can see, their outer membrane is folded to create long projections called dendrites that extend out into the epidermis of the skin. This adaptation increases the cell's surface area, allowing each one to contact as many other keratinocytes as possible. Taking yet another closer look at the structure, the melanocyte has a nucleus where all of its genetic information is stored, all the instructions to make everything in the cell. The mitochondria is where the energy is made that's used to fuel the cell's activities, and the Golgi apparatus acts as a factory packaging the newly made melanin pigment in melanosomes and shipping them to the deport site, the dendrites. On a day-to-day basis, the skin is exposed to a lot of heat or radiation from the sun that we just can't see, one of the most prominent being ultraviolet radiation. In the nucleus of our cells, UV radiation can damage the DNA, causing mutations and even cancer, which we will explore later on in the video. The more UV light a person is exposed to, the more melanin is produced, giving rise to tanning and the different skin tones. Thus, the activity of the melanocytes is both genetically and environmentally controlled. However, there is a catch. A certain amount of UV is needed to make vitamin D, which is used to form strong bones. Thus, being able to vary the amount of melanin produced is crucial in maintaining a balance. So how is melanin made? Well, our body is made up of chemical compounds called amino acids, and when tyrosine, a specific amino acid, undergoes chemical reactions, it produces the pigment called melanin. The granules are then packaged in a bubble-like container called melanosomes. The melanosomes are then expelled into the epidermis and taken up by the cells surrounding them, called the keratinocytes. There, the melanin forms a protective barrier around the nucleus of the cell that prevents damage to the DNA by absorbing UV radiation, a lot like using an umbrella to protect yourself on a hot day at the beach. This whole process is called melanogenesis, which translated literally means the beginning of melanin.
Now we've seen how the melanocyte works in health, but what about disease? One disease associated with the melanocytes is albinism. It is characterized by the complete lack of melanin in the body. Because melanocytes are also present in our hair and eyes, albino people tend to have white hair, pale skin, and pink eyes. Without this protection from the sun, they are advised to completely avoid sunlight. Another is vitiligo. Vitiligo is a non-contagious disease that you can acquire at any time in your life. It is what we call an autoimmune disease. The body's immune system wrongly attacks the melanocytes, destroying them as if they were just another virus or bacteria. This results in white patches on the skin, the most common areas being on the face, arms, and legs. It is more noticeable with people with darker skin. The patches are quite sensitive to sunlight, so as you can guess, people living with vitiligo are often more susceptible to DNA damage and thus skin cancer. On the other side of the spectrum is melasma, also called chloasma. Patches that are darker than your skin appear on portions of your face, and research so far suggests that there are 4 main contributing factors: changes in your hormones, Sun exposure, inflammation, and genetics may play a part. Hence, melasma is commonly found in pregnant women and generally in women between the ages of 20 to 40. So let's take a review. We all contain specialized cells called melanocytes that produce the pigment melanin. We've had a look at where they are in the skin, what they look like, and their specializations that allow them to do their job correctly. Melanin protects us from UV radiation by absorbing it, and the amount of melanin in our skin is dependent on many factors, including sun exposure, health, and genetics. Hopefully you've learned something new today and can appreciate the skin you're in. Thanks for watching.